Welcome back to the World of Hospitality podcast. We have with us Mr. Sravan Kumar. In the podcast, we take perspective of different people in the hospitality and the food and beverage industry. So we have with us Mr. Kumar, who is hospitality consultant. He is a veteran in this industry, has been here for several decades. And I would like to know from you, sir, that how do you see the change in the consulting arena in hospitality sector vis-a-vis it was there few years before or maybe few decades before, with advent of digital space coming in, and now recently AI adding its rather a big scope into the industry for growth. So how do you see the change over the years or over the decades in this space?
Very interesting question. I'll put it up in broadly into two categories:
Yeah.
post-COVID and pre-COVID.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID, consultants had recognition where they were known, but more than half of the food service industry or food business operators did not even know the existence of food service consultants in India.
Okay.
They were making do for their solutions with equipment vendors, fabricators, and architects of some experience and so on and so forth. But post-COVID, the things have changed. Now, what happened is the industry is polarized. Investors who now want to stay in the food service business for a long term, they rely on the food service consultants. They trust their judgment, they value their opinions, and implement what is advised. That is at the top end. At the bottom end, what happened is, very interestingly, post-COVID, one segment of senior operational professionals who had to relinquish these jobs due to the lockdown or financial constraints or whatever, some of them have turned themselves into consultants. Now, there are two ways. Now, these people are also doing a very tremendous job, but then they are operating at a certain bandwidth. So, where the complexity is not too much, where the technology is not too much, where I would say mid-segment to a lower mid-segment, we'll see. That is two ends of the consulting segment. There are again entrepreneurs who have tasted success in their previous ventures. After initial success, they feel they know everything. They don't need to go to a consultant.
Right.
But then they come back to the consultant after things go horribly wrong.
Right.
That's how I put it.
Yeah. So just interesting question that is coming to mind is like, because this word consultant is very has a very different connotations attached to it. So if you see that consultation is more of a professional guidance in the simplified terms, but in India every third person is a consultant in a way. Even they would say that how something has to be done in their perspective. So I would like to hear from you that from a consultation point of view in a food and beverage and hospitality industry, what are the 3 to 4 points which will distinguish a genuine and a successful consultant who will do a peculiar growth in the business that he or she is consulting with, than the other ones who are just adding the name consultant to their particular profile?
First and foremost, let me clarify.
Yeah.
Everybody is welcome to become a consultant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody who is confident enough to provide an advice to an entrepreneur or a client and who have got a courage to call himself or herself as a consultant is welcome. There are two reasons for this. Why we welcome them is, one, they take off the load on the consultants by catering to a certain segment of clientele. On the other hand, what happens is, now you asked what distinguishes
Yeah.
a seasoned consultant versus a non-seasoned consultant. The single word, if I have to sum it up in a single word, it says expertise. Now, expertise is one word, but expertise doesn't come to you overnight. You acquire expertise
Over a period of time.
over a long period of time. One, you need to give yourself time. Number one. Number two, in food service business, the role of a consultant extends beyond mere planning. Today, a consultant, if you want to be known or if you want to make a mark of yourself, it is not adequate if you just know the basics of planning, but you need to know the technology. You need to have a sound engineering frame of mind. You need to have fantastic communication skills. You need the ability to convince the client to implement what you want to do. and you also need to have the troubleshooting abilities. More than anything, today a food service consultant is required to know the MEP, what we call the mechanical engineering and plumbing. So you need to know a bit of civil engineering, you need to know a bit of electrical engineering, you need to know a little of plumbing, you need to know how to plan your air conditioning and ventilation system. So it is not easy for somebody to become a consultant overnight, howsoever good you are. If you need to have your mark and if you need to have your client coming back to you 10 years after your first project for another project, then you need to give yourself time and keep learning all the while. This makes a difference.
So this industry in India is getting more organized in time, like recent times. Hospitality, food and beverage industry. So there are a lot many organized restaurants in every part of India, north to south and east to west, and with different brands coming in picture now, like with Accor Group is expanding pretty much, Taj expanding its operation pretty much, and rather Oyo rooms have distributed market being an aggregator. So they have also put some kind of a organized approach towards this unorganized sector. So in this way of the journey that we are having from unorganized sector to organized sector in several industries, but specifically for food and hospitality industry, how does role of consultant solidify in this journey? Because that is where I believe the right consultation comes in picture. So how consultants can shape this unorganized sector and organized sector to make it a proper foolproof business opportunity?
You look at the market, you'll know the answer. We don't need to elaborate too much on that. I would say, I would always draw a parallel. It's something like this. If somebody is conscious about his or her health, there are two ways to handle it. One is go to a qualified doctor or go to a qualified wellness coach and get your solutions. The second is go to the unorganized sector. When I say go to the unorganized sector, I mean you can even go to your street corner medical shop, or you can go to your pharmacist, or the greatest tool in the hands of people today, depending
Internet.
upon how you use it, internet, right? That dictates where your property stands perhaps 5 years after you start. Whenever a new property starts, whether it's a restaurant or a club or a bar or anything, it can be a hotel, resort, or it can be a brewery or whatever it is. When it starts, people keep coming there because they have curiosity in their mind. But to sustain the business, what you require is you require to sustain the top line revenue. That means you need to keep getting your consumers back and back to you. And then you also need to sustain your bottom line profits. That means your operation of business has to be done in a scientific manner. For that, you require a consultant. So this is where I draw the distinction. You look at any major organization, I do not want to take the names. You look at any major organization which is been surviving, let us say, for the last 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, or whatever, you will find extremely competent scientific minds behind that. Either full-time employees in their facility management team or a project development team, by whatever name you call them, or they will hire a consultant, either an individual freelancing consultant or a consulting firm. So that is the hallmark. That is what a consultant can do to a project. Anybody can open a restaurant today, but to make sure that you open the restaurant in such a way that it will continue to exist after 10 years, making profit, you require a consultant.
Sir, hospitality business is the people's business at large, and as people are changing, so is the business changing. So, in the advent of AI, and as I was discussing with other panel members and during the podcast, that this new generation, the millennials and Gen Z, which is a large population of the Indian solution of the entire household now, they eat with their eyes. I would say the visual impetus is more important, and they are Instagram generation, so to say. So, how do you see the changing trends or changing consumer behavior, and how does your consultation changes with the rapid changing demands of the audience?
Consultants do not play a role in whether people want to post their food on Instagram or they want to consume it. as you rightly said, the generation next, or we call the Gen X or
Gen
Gen
X,
Y or
yeah.
whatever it is. Yeah, they definitely. It is not that they want to show the food. It is what it is that they want to show that they are dining in a particular place
Yeah, it's more of an
among their
experience and
social media,
identity.
friends and acquaintances. But what I'll say is one thing. There are two aspects. Again, everything has got 2 points. One, because of this need for making a better presentation, because if I'm running a restaurant, I know once my plate is served on the table, before even my consumer eats it, he's going to take a photograph and put it in social media, and before he finishes that meal, probably 300 people will eat it. So the restaurant owners or the food business operators are becoming more conscious about presentation as much as other parameters of the food. That is one part. Second part, whatever happens, how much ever so happens, the food business is on a growth trajectory in India. But if you break it down into segments, it is a regional cuisine which is growing fastest.
Absolutely.
So the regional cuisine will always hold its way. No matter how much ever you want to sell, eventually, if it is in Bangalore, it is going to be your bisibele bath and ragi dosa which is going to sell. And if it is in Delhi, it is going to be your very humble dal roti which is going to sell for all the time. No matter whatever new trends will keep coming, they will only add onto the palette, but they will never replace the regional cuisine. So long as you maintain your basics right, your food business is fantastic.
Sir, your views on exhibitions like World of Hospitality, and how do they cater to the better uh, pace up for the businesses, and how do they serve as a platform in terms of doing the business better, or you can say for ease of business? And what is your maybe view on this exhibition and the way it supports the business to grow?
I've been attending World of Hospitality Expos for quite a few years. Okay, we both in Bombay and as well as I've attended
Goa
in
also we have an
Bangalore.
edition.
Pardon me?
Goa. There is one more edition like Bangalore, Mumbai, and Goa are the three editions.
Yeah, we are talking about, yes, I've attended in Mumbai, then I've attended in Bangalore last
Yeah.
year. In short, if I have to tell you, this year's edition of World of Hospitality in Bangalore is a great improvement over the last year's edition in Bangalore.
Wonderful.
Fantastic. What we have seen is there is a wider range of equipment on display here, and there is a greater diversity in the visitors who are coming today. Since morning, we've been observing. It is attracting both segments B2B and B2C. So in B2C, what happens is the clientele will have an access to directly to the manufacturers and traders. B2B will learn the tricks of the trade and keep going back. So overall, these exhibitions have got a very positive impact on enhancing the standards of the food business and the hospitality business across the country. You cannot do without these kind of exhibitions. Only thing is the exhibitors will also need to be careful. Like I said, there is a marked improvement of this edition in comparison to the previous edition. Every edition needs to have a greater improvement over the previous edition. Offer something new, offer value, offer delivery, offer learning, offer knowledge, and you will get more people. It has got a spiraling effect. Overall, the industry will benefit from this.
Sir, one important question, rather peculiar to ask you, is that we are the youngest nation in the world now. 65% of population is below 35 years of age. So that way, hospitality and food and beverage industry as an important industry that is growing. The notion earlier was that whoever would go in hospitality education, right, they would be termed in a wrong way as bawarchi or waiter, maybe in a very not very respectable manner. But now I guess the repeated uh, players coming in picture, the notion changing, and even millennials and Gen Z are understanding the importance of hospitality. So how do you see the scope for the youth in this sector? And do you feel that the youth is prepared well for this sector to grow? Because hospitality needs a lot of patience, a lot of you have to be agile as well. So Gen Z, I believe, is a little different than what the demands of industry are. So from that patience, that you have to be a little, you have to hold back yourself. You have to be very well articulated. So this fast-paced generation, is it conducive to the growth of this industry, or the industry will adapt to this culture?
Uh, Hospitality education in this country needs to be overhauled.
Ah,
Except a few private institutions here and there across the country. By and large, the colleges or the institutions are following the curriculum probably which has been designed 25, 30 years ago. One is the skill development in hospitality is not keeping in pace with the advancements which are happening in the industry. To give you an example, if one were to go to a hotel management college today, study and come out. By the time they come out of the college, whatever they've learned in the college becomes obsolete. Number one. Number two, we need more organized private sector players coming into the hospitality spectrum. There has been a strong belief that a hospitality entry level employment is not that attractive remuneration wise. That is one reason why the Gen X is not coming in. But with the growth of the hospitality sector, if the revenues are increasing, if the average yield per client is increasing, then the employer should also look at enhancing the remuneration packages to attract a better talent. They have to work on both the sides. You have to have a push factor, you have to have a pull factor. Pull factor will be a proper growth, career growth, and then push factor is opening more institutions across the country with modern curriculum. Once these two are done, then the required manpower for the industry will be available in supply and the industry will also benefit. Today the industry is suffering because of the lack of skilled manpower. Unfortunately, this is one reason where the overall hospitality standards across the country have fallen. We need to take them back to the previous levels.
Sir, one last question is that with we being the largest populous country in the world, definitely hospitality brands are entering India. And how do you see the make like Accor Group, or you can say Hyatt Group, and the other foreign groups coming in India, vis-a-vis Indian homegrown companies like ITC or Taj Group and several other companies gearing up for this? How do you see this kind of combination? And do you see that foreign players would have a market share growing in the coming few years,
We are
or
too
Indian
large.
grown companies would grow?
We are too large a country for a market to be very small. There is room for everybody in this country. Even the homegrown chains like Taj, in their initial stages, they have gone through a collaborative route.
Yeah,
They have tied up with Intercontinentals.
yeah.
Welcome Group has tied
Welcome
up
Group,
with
yeah.
Sheraton's.
And Ginger Hotel also is budget-friendly hotel.
So on and so forth. It is only after maturing of the market to a certain extent that the homegrown hotel chains have come up with completely indigenous brand offerings. Like if you see a Welcome Group Fortune Park,
Yeah,
or if you see a Taj Ginger,
Ginger, yeah.
so on and so forth. But across the spectrum, again from the top line of 5-star to the bottom level of 1-star hotel, both the segments, that is your global hotel chains, have also got their market share. The Indian homegrown chains also have got their market share. We have Country Inns, we have Admiral Benbow, we have, you name it, we have got all kinds of chains, not only the 5 stars, but even the 3-star and 2-star, the best Westerns are present in India. So these are all comparable. Let us say if you compare a 3-star chain, then you have a homegrown chains like Lemon Tree.
Yeah.
There is enough room for everybody. Eventually, this kind of a competition is also very helpful to the client.
So Lemon Tree also has another brand called Red Fox, which is again budget-friendly that they have introduced.
Absolutely.
So they are playing their cards, and there is enough, pie for everyone to
Yes.
capture. Great, sir. Thanks a lot for your elaborate time and
Thank you very much.
elongated
Wish you all the best.
answers. And it really was encouraging for us to understand from you and come up with better setup and better services in the next edition for the exhibition.
Thank you so much. Wish
Thank
you
you
all
so
the
much,
best.
sir. Have a
Looking
great
forward.
day. Thanks so much, sir.